Welcome to the scientific nap, where sleep stories unlock quiet worlds beyond the stars. Settle in, your journey starts here. Let your thoughts drift outward, where dreams weave their secret paths. Tonight, you travel softly through starlit corridors of calm and wonder. Float beyond the ordinary, where each breath lifts you closer to peaceful sleep. The first sound you notice isn't a sound at all. It's the quiet thump of something measured, too slow for a heartbeat, too regular for footsteps. It seems to be coming from the walls, or perhaps from you, though you can't remember when you started keeping time. The air smells faintly of old wood and something sharper like metal left out in the rain. You are standing in a hallway that stretches in both directions, though it's difficult to tell how far. The floor reflects faintly, like polished stone, and overhead a row of dim lamps throws soft pools of amber light. The walls are lined with doors, each one shaped like a clock face. Their frames curve in perfect circles, and from their centers extend hands-long, slender, motionless. Some show numbers you recognize. Others are marked with strange constellations, or symbols you think might be mathematical, though their meaning drifts just beyond reach. You take a step forward. The hallway does not echo. The sound of your movement is swallowed instantly, as though the air itself is listening. The nearest door's hands twitch once, not forward but sideways, then still. Again, something about the movement feels like a breath drawn in and held. You run your fingers along the frame. It is warm, not the heat of a living thing, but the warmth of sunlight that has been stored in metal for years. When your fingertip brushes the glass at the center, the hand moves again only. This time you feel it in your ribs, a faint shift. Inside you, as if your own pace has adjusted by a fraction. You realize that every door in this place is ticking, but not together. One beats in a slow, heavy rhythm. Another stutters with rapid urgency. Some tick in patterns, 3 fast, 1 slow. A pause like they are speaking in a language built entirely from time. You walk further. The light ahead bends strangely, as if you're seeing it through water. The doors to your left appear closer than those to your right, though when you turn your head, the distances reverse. For a moment, you are certain the hallway is tilting, not in space, but in time. Somewhere in your memory, you remember reading that time is not constant. It stretches and shrinks depending on speed and gravity. That in the presence of immense forces, seconds can slow, pooling like syrup in the cracks of the universe. Here, the idea doesn't feel abstract. It is literal. It is architectural. You pause in front of a door unlike the others. It's made of brushed steel, but its face is split into 2 overlapping circles. One ticks steadily clockwise. The other drifts counterclockwise, slower, as though resisting the first. The point where they meet quivers faintly. You don't know how you know. But stepping through this one would mean walking into 2 different times at once. Farther down, you pass a door with no hands at all. Its face is a blank expanse of pale stone. You lean closer, expecting stillness, but your breath catches when you feel a slow pull toward it, as if the absence of time is itself a kind of gravity. You keep moving, trying not to count how many doors you've passed. Some feel warm, others cold, a few hum faintly beneath your fingertips. You think you see movement at the very edge of your vision shadows, slipping between doorways, but when you turn, the hallway is empty. It occurs to you that the hallway might not have an end, or if it does, reaching it might not mean what you think it does. The lamps overhead flicker once, And in that instant you glimpse something impossible. All the doors open at once, revealing flashes of worlds behind them. One shows a city at night, where the stars fall in slow spirals toward the ground. Another is filled with blue water, suspended mid-wave, 1,000 droplets hanging in mid-air. Another glows with the red light of a sun you have never seen, casting shadows that stretch faster than they should. The images vanish as quickly as they came, leaving the hallway silent again. You press your hand to your chest. The slow thump you noticed when you first awoke is still there, but it's different, now less a heartbeat, more like the steady turning of some vast gear. Somewhere behind you, a door clicks softly. You turn and see one swinging open. Its face shows no numbers, only a spiral curling inward toward a vanishing point. The air that spills out is neither warm nor cold, but it carries the weightless feeling you sometimes have in dreams. Just before you start to fall, you step toward it, your hand brushing the edge of the frame. The spiral seems to breathe. You think you hear a faint ticking, but it's not coming from the door, it's coming from within you, as though the pace of your own seconds is about to shift again. You don't remember deciding to cross the threshold. The hallway fades behind you, replaced by a sky the color of deep water, lit from below. Somewhere far ahead, something moves in slow arcs, like planets tracing their orbits. You take another step, and time does something you can't name, stretching, twisting, then settling into a rhythm you've never felt before. And in the distance, through the shifting air, another door waits. Standing alone with its hands still turning, you step toward it, the ground soft underfoot like compacted dust. The closer you come, the taller it seems, until it towers above you like the face of some patient machine. The hands don't point to numbers, but to faint, intersecting arcs. When you push it open, the air changes thinner. The world tilts forward as if it's letting you in. Beyond the threshold, there is no floor, only a pale stretch of space littered with floating stones. Some are the size of your palm, others as large as houses, yet they hang motionless in mid-air. You take a cautious step and find yourself weightless, your momentum carrying you between them. The stones drift in slow arcs, tracing paths that seem deliberate, but without any shared center. At first, you expect to find the anchor points, some massive object, some invisible sun, but there is nothing. Only emptiness and these slow, deliberate motions. One stone glides toward you, curving away at the last second as if repelled by something unseen. You turn, and another drifts behind you, keeping its distance, but matching your speed. As if you too were caught in a silent dance. The arrow, whatever medium this is, has no wind, yet your body moves as if on a current. You realize you're not being pulled toward anything, you're being bent. Your path curves subtly even when you try to move straight, and so do the stones. All of them following invisible tracks like beads sliding along warped glass. You remember how mass is supposed to bend spacetime, how gravity is less a force than the shape of the stage, but here, the actors move without the stage itself being anchored. It's as if the play exists without the theater. A cluster of stones passes overhead, circling a point of nothing. You angle yourself toward it, curiosity outweighing the disorientation in your stomach. The closer you get, the more the path of your body shifts without your consent. Your arms drift forward, your legs tuck slightly, and you spiral not tightly, but with a slow, spiraling inevitability. The nothing at the center is not black, it's not even dark. It's simply absent, a hole in perception. Your eyes slide over it like water over polished metal, unable to hold. Your breath slows without meaning to. It's not dangerous, but it feels old, as if it has been here long before anything knew how to fall. You pass between two stones, spinning around each other. They are locked in a shared orbit, their paths graceful and deliberate. You expect them to collide eventually, but as you watch, one dips slightly, passing beneath the other without touching, and they continue on as if rehearsed. You think about the way gravity in your world ties everything together, the planets, the moons, the bodies that pass too close, but here, that tether is strange, unreliable, yet still constant in its own quiet way. Your movement slows as you near the edge of the cluster. Beyond it, the stones thin out, replaced by specks of light suspended in an endless pale void. One glints brighter than the rest, and you feel yourself turning toward it. You can't tell if you've decided to, or if the space around you has chosen for you. When you reach it, you find not a star, but a perfectly round fragment of glass, no bigger than your head. Inside, it swirls a miniature sky, with tiny clouds moving faster than they should. You touch it gently, and a ripple runs through the air, reaching the surrounding stones. For a moment, all their motions change slightly faster, slightly closer, before settling back into their original drift. You move on, weaving through the field, letting the paths guide you rather than resisting them. You begin to sense patterns, small spirals nested within larger ones, loops that return to themselves after impossible detours, motions that seem to anticipate your arrival. You start to wonder if you're part of one of those patterns, not an observer, but another stone in the field. Ahead, a faint glow begins to gather, soft at first, then building as you approach. It's not a single light, but many points scattered through the void, connected by thin, shimmering threads. They form no clear web, no perfect geometry, just a loose tangle that shifts like a slow tide. Between them, you can see more stones, some faint and distant, others near enough to touch. You glide closer, and the threads hum faintly, though whether it's a sound or a vibration in your bones, you can't tell. One thread drifts past your arm. It doesn't snag or pull. Instead, it curves gently toward you, as if curious. When it brushes your skin, a wave of memory floods you, not of events, but of motion. The gentle arc of a planet's year, the soft rise and fall of a tide, the curve of a falling leaf through autumn air. The sensation fades, leaving behind a strange weightlessness, not in your body, but in the way you measure time. You let the thread go, watching it wander back into the shifting tangle. The glow here seems to have no source, and yet you feel it pulling you onward, toward the center of the cluster. The stones there are smaller, spinning faster, until they blur at the edges. At the very heart, suspended in stillness, is another door. This one is made of a material you can't name, its surface bending light in ways that make it seem both flat and infinite. No hands, no face, just a frame, waiting. You hesitate, caught in the rhythm of the stones around you, wondering if stepping through will break their orbits or simply change yours. A faint tremor runs through the void, shifting the paths of the nearest stones. One grazes your shoulder as it passes, a slow, deliberate nudge, as if urging you closer. You reach for the door, and the threads in the air seem to lean toward you, their faint hum deepening. The frame grows warmer under your hand, not with heat, but with the pressure of an unseen tide rising around you. And when you open it, the stones begin to turn in a new direction. They turn slowly, their edges glinting once before fading into something darker than shadow. You step forward and realize the glow is gone, not dimmed, not hidden, but swallowed. The floor ahead curves away, as if you're standing inside the shell of something colossal and hollow. Its walls drink the light from your hands, your breath, your pulse. You can't see them, but you can feel their pull, quiet and immense, like an ocean you can't hear. There is no horizon here, no vanishing point. The air holds a thickness you've never known, as if every movement costs more than it should. You test it, lift your hand, and the motion stretches slower than it should be. Not because you are slow, but because the world here refuses to let it happen quickly. Something clicks inside you. This is a place where light itself is a prisoner. Even the photons that should carry your reflection never make it back. You are here, but you do not appear. You walk, and the sound of your steps doesn't bounce back. Without echoes, distance feels meaningless. You could be crossing meters or years. Somewhere deep in the black, a shape looms, not visible, but outlined by the way it bends your sense of straight lines. It is a sphere, suspended yet immovable. Its surface is flawless, but not in the way glass is flawless. It has no surface at all. The closer you move, the more you feel it pressing against the thought of movement itself, like a rule written into space. When you reach out, you can't tell if your hand stops or if the idea of your hand is simply erased. Time feels stitched differently here, tighter, compressed, so that moments can't leak forward. If this place breathes, it does so only inward. A faint vibration hums through your bones, though nothing stirs around you. It is not sound, it is not touching. It is something older. The gravity of an end, too dense for anything to leave. You circle the sphere, though around is a strange word here. Every step is both progress and repetition. It's as though you're pacing the lip of a thought that refuses to unfold. You imagine the light trapped inside, folding in on itself over and over. Its journey curved forever back to its origin. Somewhere in your chest, the rhythm of your heart shifts to match this place, slower, heavier. You wonder if it's adjusting or surrendering. Then a flicker, not light exactly, but a disturbance, a ripple in the black that is more felt than seen. It drifts near the sphere's edge, hesitating, as if deciding whether to vanish or approach. You lean toward it, and in that moment, you feel the strange certainty that beyond this boundary, time no longer behaves at all. That if you were to step past it, every possible moment of you, past, present, and never would exist at once, woven into the same thread until no thread remains. The ripple stills, as though aware of you. For a heartbeat, you think you see movement inside the sphere, not light, but something reshaping the dark. Then it's gone, leaving only the sense that the black here is not empty, but listening. The silence deepens, pressing gently at your temples. You feel as though you could stay here forever without aging, without moving, without being found. Yet something in the way the floor tilts under your feet tells you this place is not still. It is falling, always falling, into itself. Your fingers curl, holding on to nothing. And you realize that outside no longer feels like a real place. The thought of leaving is harder to form than the thought of staying. Another ripple slides along the unseen surface. It pauses right where your gaze would meet it, if gaze meant anything here. This time, you sense it isn't random. It's an opening, a path, or perhaps an invitation. And before you decide to follow, you notice the faintest pull at your back, not from behind, but from a direction you didn't know existed until now. You turn, drawn by the subtle tug that feels less like a force and more like a question. The world around you shifts, not in space, but in the rhythm of being. Time itself thickens, folding in slow layers around your senses. You step through a veil of silence and find yourself suspended above an ocean unlike any you have known. The waves are caught mid-crest, glassy and frozen, their edges sharp enough to catch the faintest glimmer of a light that doesn't quite belong here. You reach out, fingertips brushing the surface. It yields, cold and solid, but beneath it, you sense a restless pulse, as if the ocean holds its breath, waiting. Around you, objects hover in place, stones in midfall. Droplets paused at the edge of descent, a gull frozen mid-flap, feathers spread as if time struck a sudden halt. Even your own breath feels slowed, stretched thin between moments. You try to blink, but the world holds your eyes open, inviting you to linger in the stillness. There is no wind here, no sound, yet you feel a deep vibration under your skin, the subtle hum of a clock, wound tight, reluctant to unwind. It is as if you have stepped inside a moment caught between pulses, where the flow of time is stretched, until it appears to stop, only to surge forward elsewhere. You begin to walk on this frozen sea, each step causing ripples in the air that do not spread, but linger like echoes. The ocean is a mirror, reflecting a sky that is both night and day at once, colors muted and blended, horizons blurred. The edges of your vision dissolve into this half-remembered dreamscape, soft and fragile. A memory flickers, one not your own, fragments of a theory whispered long ago, about how time can dilate, slow or freeze depending on speed and gravity. Here, you experience it as a tangible place, a frozen stretch where moments crystallize like ice, held just before melting into what comes next. You notice your heartbeat, steady but slowed, syncing with the ocean's pulse. There is a strange comfort in the suspension, a pause that invites reflection without demand. You think about how this frozen sea is not absence, but space where time hesitates, where possibilities gather quietly beneath the glass surface. Ahead, a cluster of frozen waves forms an archway, delicate as crystal. You step through and feel the weight of stillness settle deeper into your bones. The air here thickens, but not oppressive. It's more like a soft cloak, gentle yet inescapable. Beneath your feet, you detect a subtle warmth, as if the sea itself breathes beneath its frozen skin. The suspended droplets around you shimmer faintly, catching fragments of a light that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. You reach out again, this time tracing the curve of a wave suspended mid-crosh. It trembles faintly at your touch, a whisper of motion trapped inside stillness. You realize this sea is not simply paused, it's balanced on the edge of movement, caught in a delicate tension between forward and backward. Now and then, you sense that here, time is less a river and more a frozen dance, each step both hesitant and inevitable. It is a place of waiting, but not of stagnation. The frozen ocean holds secrets of what could be, shimmering just beneath the surface of pause. As you move forward, the waves begin to catch subtle glimmers of change. Tiny cracks appear along their edges, light spilling softly through. The frozen moment starts to thin, as if time is gathering strength to break its hold. Your breath catches a sudden rush as the sea trembles. You feel yourself drawn into the fold of this shift, the balance between stasis and flow. The frozen ocean does not release you, but invites you to step into the unfolding moment. And as the glass waves begin their slow collapse, folding light and shadow into a new rhythm, You find yourself poised between stillness and motion, caught in the quiet surge that leads onward. You move forward, stepping through a doorway that seems to pulse with a soft, rewinding glow. The air shifts around you, cool and heavy, as if the world itself has pressed pause and is now running backward on a slow loop. You feel the pull of time pulling against you, not forward, but curling back toward what was. The room unfolds like a memory played in reverse. Water spilled across the floor gathers itself, rising in delicate arcs before sliding back into the cup it left moments ago. A broken vase on a nearby table pieces itself together, shards sliding silently across the surface to rejoin without a trace of fracture. Even the dust in the air seems to pull away, swirling backward into forgotten corners. You walk carefully, aware of this gentle undoing, but your steps are stubbornly forward, a lone thread running against the unraveling fabric of this place. The paradox presses on you quietly. Everything reverses except you. Your presence, your movement, your breath. These do not rewind. You reach out to touch a pane of glass, watching it mend under your fingertips as cracks vanish like threads pulled from a tapestry. The surface glistens with a clarity that feels both fragile and impossible, like a secret waiting to slip back into place. The room feels alive with subtle contradictions, a dance between order and chaos, creation and decay. You recall the law whispered by the stars, entropy, the arrow of time pointing irreversibly forward, the slow unwinding of all things toward disorder. Yet here the rules have shifted. Disorder repairs itself, chaos folds back into harmony, and time plays a gentle trick, reversing its usual march. Yet you are an anomaly. Your presence is a pulse of forward motion in a world rewinding. Your breath inhales the past, but your heart beats in the now. You walk through rooms where shadows stretch and retreat in reverse, where conversations draw back to their first word, and where memories gather themselves like leaves in a backward wind. You find a music box on a dresser, its melody unspooling, in reverse notes that somehow feel familiar, like a lullaby remembered before sleep. When you close the lid, the tune snaps into silence, and the air settles once again around you. The house seems to watch you, its rewind button poised but untouched, waiting for you to understand that time's reversal is not a restoration, but a fragile balance. Every repaired crack is a reminder of past fractures, every rising drop a hint of what was lost. You move through a hallway where paintings shift backward, brushstrokes retreating into blank canvases, colors fading like breaths held too long. You reach out to one portrait to your own face, smiling before it was painted, then step away as the image dissolves, leaving only the texture of the wall behind. A sudden pull at your back returns, softer this time, a whispering tug that suggests another door, one beyond undoing and becoming. You turn toward the sound of it, caught between the urge to rewind and the call to move forward. The room's glow flickers, folding shadows and light into a new rhythm, and you step toward the threshold, the boundary where time's rules begin to bend once more. You cross the threshold and find yourself suspended in a vast emptiness, black, yet alive with quiet movement. Before you stretch a grid of glowing lines, faint but persistent, like a constellation of fragile light stitched into the void. The axes shimmer and pulse, never steady, shifting subtly with every breath you take. You reach out, fingers brushing against a point of light, but it dissolves before your touch. The map rearranges itself, axes bending and twisting as if uncertain where you truly belong. No coordinates feel fixed. Location here is a question, never an answer. This place is less a map and more a suggestion, a space where directions fold into each other, where up can become sideways and distance loses its meaning. You try to follow a path, but it slips away, a ripple in the fabric of what you thought was solid. Time blends with space here, the grid lines flickering between moments as much as positions. You feel yourself both here and nowhere, moving but standing still. The concept of place warps into something fluid, like a dream that reshapes itself as you try to hold it. You sense the world's uncertainty, a quantum pulse beneath the flickering grid, reminding you that at the smallest scales, position is not a fact but a possibility, a dance of probabilities unfolding. Here, that dance is visibler, trembling of reality's edges, a hesitation between presence and absence. Your heartbeat matches the pulse of the shifting lines, steady but unsure. You wonder what it means to be somewhere when somewhere itself dissolves beneath your feet. The feeling is both unsettling and strangely freeing, a release from fixed points, a surrender to the flow of becoming. You notice stars flickering just beyond the grid, too bright and close to be distant, yet too distant to grasp. Each star seems to wink in and out, its place uncertain, like a note held between sound and silence. The sky above is a living canvas, painted with possibilities rather than certainties. You move slowly, tracing patterns in the light that never settle. Each step shifts the grid, recalibrating your position even as you hold still. You realize that here, your location is defined not by coordinates, but by choice. An unfolding story written on a canvas that resists fixed lines. A soft breeze, though. There is no air whispers against your skin, carrying fragments of equations and dreams. It speaks of dimensions folded within dimensions, spaces nested like Russian dolls, each with its own shifting map. You feel yourself folding too, becoming part of this uncertain geometry. The boundaries between inside and outside blur as the grid pulses around you, a living net woven from the fabric of spacetime itself. You sense the infinite possibilities stretching in every direction, all held in fragile balance. And just as you begin to feel lost, the grid suddenly single point of light brightens and holds steady, a coordinate that feels like a place. You step toward it, the maps trembling, calming beneath your feet, as if recognizing you. But before you can reach it, the light flickers once more and the grid dissolves into darkness, leaving only a faint glow that pulses like a heartbeat, waiting to be found again. You stand suspended, the vast unknown folding gently around you, poised between presence and possibility. You step forward through a veil thinner than breath, a shimmer like heat rising off a sunlit road. The air changes cooler, crisper-like, stepping beneath a quiet glass dome that separates worlds. On the other side, everything looks familiar, but feels subtly wrong, as if you've slipped inside the reflection of a reflection. The sky above mirrors itself perfectly on the surface of a lake that stretches endlessly before you. Yet the water moves differently. Ripples curl opposite to the breeze. Waves fold inward where they should crash outward. You reach toward the surface, and your fingers meet an echo that pulls away with a slow, mirrored hesitation. Around you, trees lean opposite, their branches weaving shadows that fall backward in time. The ground beneath your feet seems to press in from all directions, folding inward, folding out again, like a universe caught in a loop of symmetry. You walk forward, but the path twists beneath you, leading you in circles that feel like both escape and return. You feel the pulse of this place, a heartbeat turned inside out. It hums with a strange energy, one that balances matter and antimatter, forward and backward, left and right. You sense the invisible laws of CPT reversal weaving through the air, the rules of physics reversed in delicate symmetry. Your reflection moves slightly out of sync, gestures lagging behind your own, as if time flows differently here. The world itself becomes a mirror that does not simply duplicate, but reinterprets every shape, every sound, bending it back into something familiar yet uncanny. You pause at the edge of the lake, the water's surface like polished glass trapping light and shadow in a perfect loop. Each ripple is a small rebellion, a crack in the mirrored illusion, revealing the deeper mystery beneath the reality folded within its own reflection. A quiet longing rises inside you, a yearning for balance, or perhaps escape from this looping symmetry. The edges of the world here fold back like the pages of a book turned inside out. Stories written backward and forward, impossible to read but impossible to ignore. The mirrored lake begins to shimmer, breaking its own surface tension, sending ripples that multiply and then vanish, like echoes fading before they reach your ear. You step back from the shore, caught in the fragile boundary between worlds that mirror each other but never fully align. As you turn away, the reflection lingers, shadow behind your shadow, a secret waiting to be understood. You feel the pull of the loop tightening, a cycle spinning quietly beneath the surface of things, waiting for a step that will break the pattern or fold it deeper still. You move forward, carrying the mirrored weight with you, knowing the journey folds back on itself like light caught between two perfect mirrors, shimmering endlessly in the space between presence and reflection. You step onto a bridge that glows faintly beneath your feet, stretching out like a thread woven between two skies. Above one side, the dawn unfolds, slowly a gentle sunrise washing the horizon in soft golds and pale pinks. On the other, a sunset bleeds deep reds and purples, the last light folding into gathering shadows. Both skies pulse with time, but in opposite directions, as if the world itself is breathing in and out at once. The air hums quietly around you, a subtle vibration like a breath held between heartbeats. You feel the weight of two timelines pressing softly on your skin, one unraveling, collapsing inward like a closing flower, the other swelling outward, stretching toward something unseen. The bridge beneath you is the fragile seam where these arrows meet, a slender path threading reality's opposing flows. You move slowly, each step a negotiation between forward and backward, past and future. The bridge sways gently, not with wind, but with the silent tug of entropy and its subtle opposita, pulled toward disorder and a push toward renewal. Time here is no longer a line, but a delicate balance, a place where cause and effect blur into one another like colors merging. At twilight, the world around you reflects this tension. Leaves on distant trees flicker between vibrant life and faded memory, their colors shifting as if caught between seasons that never settle. The air tastes both crisp and warm, a paradox of cold dawn and warm dusk folded into a single breath. You reach out and touch the railings, smooth and cool, yet alive with a slow pulse, like the heartbeat of the universe itself. You realize that here, on this bridge, you inhabit the space between moments, where beginnings and endings converge. Without conflict, it's a place without choice, yet full of possibility, where the arrow of time is both a path and a loop, collapsing and expanding in a single movement. The feeling is dizzying but quiet, Like floating in the calm center of a storm, your footsteps send ripples through the air, invisible waves that bend light and shadow around you. Time dilates seconds, stretch and compress, merging into a rhythm you can almost follow but never fully catch. The bridge seems to hum with the music of entropy, the inevitable march toward disorder, yet beneath it, a faint counterpoint of anti-entropy plays softly, the whisper of balance, restoration, and life pushing back as you walk. Your reflection shimmers in the glossy surface beneath the bridge, sometimes ahead of you, sometimes behind. It's a reminder that you are both observer and participant, caught in the flow but also shaping it with each breath, each choice, each hesitant step. Far ahead, the two skies lean toward each other, the colors bleeding and blending in a slow dance. The bridge narrows, curving gently into the horizon, where light fractures and reforms in a prism of endless possibility. You feel a shift within yourself, a quiet acceptance of this paradox, embracing the tension between collapse and growth, between letting go and holding on. The glow beneath your feet brightens, a soft pulse syncing with your heartbeat, and you sense that the bridge itself is alive, an artery carrying the lifeblood of time's dual nature. It asks nothing but your presence, your willingness to walk the line where endings birth beginnings. You don't rush. Instead, you breathe in sync with the two skies, each breath a fragile promise held in the balance of now and forever. The horizon draws near, and with it, the subtle stirring of what lies beyond this threshold, where time's arrows no longer point apart, but fold together in a seamless curve. You don't move, but something does. You find yourself standing at the threshold of a vast hall, its ceiling vanishing into shadows thick as midnight. The air is still, carrying a soft rustle that feels less like wind and more like whispered memories. Around you, endless rows of shelves stretch far beyond sight, each laden with books whose covers shimmer faintly blank, yet somehow alive. Waiting as you step forward, the floor beneath you hums softly, resonating with the quiet pulse of forgotten possibilities. The walls seem to breathe, expanding and contracting like the universe itself, holding histories not written but imagined. Here, in this archive, you sense the weight of countless universes that never blossomed, futures erased before they began. Moments that unraveled into silence. Your fingers brush against a book, and the cover ripples like water disturbed. Words begin to etch themselves, letters forming with a tender urgency, as if eager to be remembered. You peer inside and find a storier version of yourself who chose a different path, whose life unfolded in shadows and light unfamiliar, yet hauntingly intimate. This other you moves through landscapes you don't recognize, but feel strangely tethered to. The library is a labyrinth of what-ifs, a place where every decision not taken, every star that failed to ignite, is archived and kept alive by the gentle act of reading. The books glow softly under your touch, each one a fragile universe suspended in ink and thought. As you walk deeper, the rows seem to ripple, the boundaries between volumes shifting like waves on a distant sea. You realize this archive is not just a collection, it's a living memory of existence itself, a testament to creation's infinite possibilities and the fragile threads that hold reality together. Time here folds and loops. Past and future intertwine like the spines of the books you handle, blurring the line between who you are and who you might have been. The silence around you is profound but not empty. It carries a subtle vibration, the echo of choices and chances, the flicker of universes that shimmer in and out of existence like distant stars. You feel both small and vast, a single thread in an endless tapestry woven from light, shadow, and the quiet longing of unspoken stories. As you turn another page, the words rewrite themselves, shifting with your gaze, reflecting new possibilities and unseen paths. It's as if the archive responds to your presence, unfolding secrets tailored just for you, echoes of your soul reflected in worlds that never were. In this place of infinite mirrors, you sense a soft transformation. The weight of forgotten selves and unrealized dreams settles gently within you, folding into your own being. It is a quiet invitation to accept the fluidity of existence, the dance of creation and loss that shapes all realities. Ahead, the shelves bend, curving into darkness, where stories blur into light, where the boundaries of self and other dissolve. The archive pulses softly, a heart beating in time with the universe's breath, waiting for you to move beyond the last page. You don't move, but something stirs, a whisper folding itself between the lines, drawing you deeper into the labyrinth of forgotten universes. You follow the whisper, stepping through a veil that ripples like liquid glass. The world shifts beneath your feet, geometry loosening its grip like sand slipping through your fingers. Suddenly, space feels wrong, edges blur, corners vanish, and surfaces bend in impossible ways. You are inside a place where dimensions fold over themselves and then disappear, where the rules of shape and direction seem to slip away with a gentle sigh. As you walk, the path curves beneath you, but not as expected. A step forward folds you back upon yourself, a looping dance without repetition but without escape. You feel the strange dizziness of moving straight, yet arriving where you began, caught in a topology that refuses flatness or length alone. The space hums, softly alive with the quiet pulse of dimensions you once thought invisible. In this place, a cube floats nearby. It unfolds and refolds like a flower blooming inside a mirror, twisting into forms that should not exist. Its edges stretch into ribbons, surfaces twist into Mobius-like loops, and faces vanish only to reappear elsewhere. The cube is a symbol, a living paradox, echoing the strange fluidity of your surroundings. It's a shape that reminds you how much the world can change when you allow dimensions to bend and break free from expectation. You reach out, fingers grazing the cube's shifting surface. The touch sends ripples through your own perception, a soft rearrangement inside your mind. Suddenly, your senses stretch beyond simple up and down, left and right. You sense spaces folding inward, spaces you cannot fully grasp but feel nestled just beyond the edges of your awareness. The cube's impossible form whispers of extra dimensions, hidden folds in the fabric of reality, quietly threading through the space you think you know. Here, walking is not just motion but a transformation, a slow unweaving and reweaving of place itself. Time feels suspended between familiar steps and strange returns, as if your journey is less about reaching and more about becoming. The sensation is not unsettling. It's a quiet invitation to surrender the maps your mind clings to and explore the secret curves beneath the surface. You realize the labyrinth of forgotten universes was only the beginning. This is a deeper fold where even space dissolves into mystery. The boundary between inside and outside, here and there, real and imagined, softens like twilight mist. It is a space not of loss, but of possibility, where missing dimensions hint at stories waiting to be told in shapes unseen. The cube unfolds once more, petals of geometry stretching wide and folding tight again, as if breathing. The edges catch a glimmer of unseen light, shadows folding into light like the slow pulse of a hidden heartbeat. You step forward again, your path a ribbon looping through a place that is everywhere and nowhere. A geometry without walls or limits. Your body moves, but your mind feels weightless, suspended between the certainty of form and the freedom of unformed space. Here, you are both navigator and traveler, unfolding like the cube itself, drawn into the mystery of dimensions that slip quietly into the dark, waiting for discovery. And beneath your feet, the impossible floor curves upward like a secret smile, inviting you to follow where the missing dimensions fold themselves back into the unknown. You step forward, feeling the curve beneath you deepen, and the world around you begins to thin like mist evaporating under a slow sun. Shapes that once held substance grow faint, edges softening until they shimmer with an unsteady light. The air feels porous breath slips through it with a quiet hiss, as if the scenery itself is trying to hold together but cannot quite manage. A flicker catches your sudden glitch in the horizon. A patch of sky pixelating into blocks of color, fractured like a broken screen. The trees around you pulse unevenly, their leaves blurring and resetting in a rhythm too mechanical to be natural. It's a place on the edge, where the texture of reality trembles and wavers. Like a dream nearing waking. You reach out, fingers brushing the space before you, and the air ripples strings of code drift, translucent and tangled, suspended like cobwebs caught in an unseen breeze. These threads hum softly, vibrating with a pattern that feels both alien and familiar. The colors flicker as if re-rendering, and somewhere distant, a low static murmurs beneath the surface of the scene. Here, time hiccups. The steady flow, becomes uneven, caught between frames. Movements, bird freezes mid-flight, then blinks out of existence, only to reappear moments later with no warning. Light itself seems to hesitate, casting shadows that flicker and glitch, as if the universe is running just behind the moment you occupy. You realize you are no longer inside a seamless world, but standing at the threshold of the frame, outside the smooth veneer of reality's code. Your body moves freely, untouched by the lag, like a ghost aware of the machinery around it. You are both observer and anomaly, a presence refusing to be rendered fully. A line of true continuity in a sea of flickering illusion. The ground beneath you feels less solid, pixels forming and unforming with each step. An unstable foundation that hums with the quiet urgency of incomplete creation. Yet, your footing holds firm as if you carry a code of your own, a script written in the margins where the system cannot reach. Around you, the landscape glitches in subtle ways. Buildings lose faces. Walls appear half-constructed, and distant horizons fold like a corrupted file. These unfinished game levels, these stuttering fragments, whispers of worlds paused in mid-build, universes that never finished their story, caught forever in a loop of preparation and delay. Your breath is steady, though the scene fractures, as if your presence brings coherence to the chaos. You begin to walk along the edge where pixels fade into darkness, the boundary between code and void. Each step unfolds new glitches. A dropped frame here, a looped texture, they're signaling a reality still under construction or unraveling at its seams. And yet, in this unraveling, there is a strange clarity. You sense that the glitches are not just errors but openings, cracks, where something else might seep in, where the rules of this world can be bent, rewritten, or escaped. The fabric of this place invites you to see beyond its surface, beyond the flickering illusion, into the architecture of existence itself. You pause where the world cuts off, a sharp line between rendered form and nothingness, like an unfinished painting's edge. Beyond it, the void stretches empty and infinite, a silent code waiting to be written, an invitation to step outside the frame and become something new, unbounded by texture or time. A final flicker runs across your vision pixels, shimmering into strands of light that weave themselves around your limbs. You feel a surge, a soft pulse of becoming, as if you are not just moving through this glitching border, but folding into it, becoming part of the code and the void, the observer and the observed. The boundary blurs and shifts, a curtain parting for you alone, and the stuttering scene settles into a single, steady frame, one that holds you gently, ready to unfold into what comes next. The line between the simulation and something beyond folds open like a door made of light waiting for your hand to press it. The line between the simulation and something beyond folds open like a door made of light waiting for your hand to press it. You don't hesitate. The light ripples beneath your touch, dissolving into a silence so profound it seems to swallow the edges of your senses. There is no floor beneath you, no walls around you, just a vast, unyielding blackness that stretches beyond knowing. You fall, but the fall has no bottom, no end, like drifting inside a dream where gravity forgets its name. Around you, the quiet is not empty. It hums softly with a presence just out of reach. You sense the core of this silence, a place where space itself thins, where the usual rules of reality bend away. There is no weight here, no sound, only the faintest shimmer of something waiting beneath the stillness. It feels like the heart of a void, a seed from which everything might one day emerge or collapse again into nothingness. You reach out instinctively, fingertips brushing against a sphere of blackness hovering before you. It absorbs your touch, like a dark mirror, yet inside it pulses with a soft static, like the hushed breath of the quantum vacuum itself. This sphere is not empty. It vibrates with the restless energy of potential, the quiet force beneath all matter and meaning. The sphere feels ancient, deeper than space, yet pregnant with beginnings you cannot yet name. The boundaries between you and the sphere dissolve as your awareness stretches, folding into the quantum silence where particles flicker in and out, of existence, ghosts, of possibility dancing at the edge of the void. Time here does not flow. It hesitates, as if the universe holds its breath. You sense how this vacuum is not a void of absence, but a womb of becoming, a silent canvas where the brushstrokes of creation are waiting to unfold. With each passing moment, the sphere's static ripples into patterns that flicker like the first stars of a newborn cosmos. The edges of the blackness pulse with soft waves, fragile yet infinite, inviting you deeper into this core of nothing. It feels like stepping inside a seed so small it contains every potential future, every universe that might ever unfold or dissolve. You realize that this stillness is not empty, but charged with the quiet hum of everything yet to be. Your breath slows, merging with the rhythm of this vast silence. In this place where space and time dissolve, you are both lost and found, suspended between absence and possibility. The quiet expands, folding into the deepest part of your awareness, inviting you to release what you thought you knew about existence and surrender to the unknowable. The black sphere pulses once more, this time unfolding like a bloom, revealing the subtle geometry of space compressed and stretched in impossible ways. Shapes fold into themselves, dimensions bending softly inward and outward as if the void itself is breathing in slow motion. You are drawn toward this unfolding, sensing how the very fabric of reality shimmers between presence and absence, solid and fluid as you float deeper into this core. You feel the paradox of nothingness, the place where existence dissolves and begins again without form or sound. Here, the familiar dissolves into a mist of quantum possibility, and you become aware of a gentle echo vibrating through the silence, the subtle pulse of the universe's hidden heart, beating softly beneath all things. The sphere's quiet static grows into a faint song, a resonance that feels like memory itself, folding into stillness. It hums with the promise of creation, the whisper of worlds waiting to bloom from the dark. You sense your own place within this vast core point, where your being stretches and contracts with the rhythm of nothingness and everythingness intertwined. Time flickers again, not as a line, but as a pulse, a gentle throb within the blackness. You realize the core holds no past or future, only an eternal present, pregnant with infinite possibility. You are both observer and participant, caught in the tender balance where the cosmos pauses to breathe. The quiet grows, swelling into a weightless tide that carries you further from the edges of what you know. In this moment, you understand that the core of nothing is not absence, but a sacred credula, silent forge where existence is both unmade and made anew. The sphere's light folds into itself, becoming a fragile point of pure potential, shining softly in the darkness like a secret yet to be told. You don't move, but something shifts, an imperceptible stirring in the silence, a breath folded into the quantum hum, a beckoning toward the next step beyond the core. The black sphere lingers before you, a quiet heart pulsing gently in the void, waiting to unfold again. The black sphere lingers before you, a quiet heart pulsing gently in the void, waiting to unfold again. As you blink, the darkness ripples like a still lake disturbed, and the space around you shifts imperceptibly, as if waiting for your gaze to settle. When you focus, the world holds its breath, the silence crystallizes, events pausing in delicate suspension. When your eyes wander away, the silence dissolves, and the currents of possibility begin to flow once more. You find yourself inside a room whose walls are fluid, folding and unfolding like memories shimmering just beyond reach. Each time your gaze fixes on a detail of folding chair, a flickering light, the pattern of shadows a moment freezes in mid-air, suspended between now and what could be. Yet the instant you look away, the frozen tableau shifts, rearranging itself with a subtle pulse, alive and waiting. It's as if your presence breathes life into the quiet stillness. Each blink a shudder snapping reality open and closed. The air is heavy with possibility, as if the room itself is a canvas whose colors rearrange according to your attention. Here, you feel the weight of observation, how the simple act of seeing can tilt the scales, collapsing endless potential into a single fragile moment. This place is not bound by ordinary rules. Time becomes a delicate film strip, stretched thin between what you witness and what remains unseen. You sense that your gaze is a gentle hand, touching the threads of the room's unfolding story, weaving order from chaos by mere presence. The space around you hums softly with the invisible echo of countless possibilities collapsing into reality. You step lightly, aware that each movement may rewrite what happens next. Shadows lengthen and freeze when caught in your glance, light flickers on the edges of vision, and objects hover between states here and not here, moving and still. It feels like a dance where you lead without trying, the rhythm set by the interplay of looking and turning away, Your breath slows as you realize this is a space shaped by the quantum dance, where wave functions ripple with possibility, until nudged into existence by the observer's gaze. The room mirrors the strange magic of quantum particles that refuse to settle until watched, their reality flickering between many states, like a secret kept just out of sight. A faint shimmer traces the edges of the room, like the faint after of a light you once saw but cannot hold. It pulses in time with your heartbeat, as if the room and your awareness are bound in a quiet conversation. You wonder what the world would look like if no eyes ever settled on it, if the moments lived only in the folds of unseen possibility. With each blink, the room's shape shifts, a chair flips into a stack of books. The walls breathe gently, and a window reveals glimpses of skies you don't recognize. The longer you observe, the more you sense the fragile balance between presence and absence, the tender boundary where your consciousness and the world entwine. You realize you are not just a visitor, but a participant in this unfolding a thread, in the quantum fabric, where your act of watching sculpts the shape of reality. The space invites you to become aware of the subtle power in simply being seen and seeing. As the room breathes and shifts beneath your gaze, the objects around you begin to echo stories, fragments of moments frozen yet alive, waiting for your eyes to awaken them. You watch a cup hover mid-fall and sense the tension of possibility stretching across the space, suspended between collapse and freedom. The room is a fragile theater of choices, playing out in the silence between your blinks. Your mind quiets, surrendering to the rhythm of observation and stillness. You sense a gentle shift inside yourself, a soft unfolding of awareness to the delicate dance between what is and what could be, shaped by your presence. The boundary between watcher and watched blurs, becoming a fluid space where meaning blooms. Quietly, the light dims and brightens, as if the room inhales and exhales in response to your attention. Shapes dissolve and reassemble, shadows flicker like heartbeat pulses, and time drips slowly like honey caught in a web. You feel the magic of existence as something both fragile and fierce, a breath held between infinite possibilities, and just as your gaze softens, the room folds inward, the shifting walls folding like pages in a book, closing gently on a story unfinished. The silence lingers, waiting for your next blink to choose what comes next. You hesitate, suspended on the edge of something vast and unknowable, where even the notion of next feels fragile, almost unreal. The room dissolves into a deeper darkness and emptiness that is not empty but pregnant, as if the universe itself is holding a breath it has never exhaled. You find yourself standing at the horizon of beginnings, but here there is no light, no flicker of stars, no whisper of atoms. Instead, there is a gentle pulse, soft and steady, like the heartbeat of a cosmos waiting to be born. This pulse is not sound or vibration, but a presence in ancient rhythm that thrums beneath all that ever was and all that will be around you. The blackness stretches infinitely, but it is not cold or empty. It feels alive with possibility, as if this void is the womb of everything, holding the raw potential of space, time, and matter folded into one. The absence is not a lack, but a fullness waiting patiently for the first breath, the first spark to ignite existence. As you watch, the pulse glows, softly growing and shrinking like the inhalation of something vast yet intimate. You reach out, instinctively, but your hand passes through it, like trying to grasp a shadow or hold the edge of a dream. This heartbeat is the last trace of a world before worlds, a rhythm that existed before time itself, took its first step forward. You sensed the concept of beginnings stretching beyond your understanding, as if time were a river yet to flow, still, compressed into a single point of quiet tension. This moment is the cusp, the fragile boundary between nothing and something, where the laws that govern stars and galaxies have not yet whispered their truths. The pulse expands and contracts, echoing a silent song beneath the fabric of the void. You realize this is the prelude to creation, the day before time began, when all was potential held in a delicate balance. The universe is not yet written. It waits for the first stroke of light to unfurl its story. Around you, the darkness feels woven with unseen threads, subtle patterns hinting at the shape of things to come. The heartbeat you follow is like a cosmic metronome, measuring a silence so deep it hums with the weight of possibility. You feel that by simply being here, you are touching the edges of Genesis itself. A gentle warmth spreads from the pulse, not in temperature but in feeling, reassurance that even in this vast nothingness, something waits patiently, unhurried. The void does not rush. It cradles the promise of everything, the unformed seed of time's first breath, a quiet before the storm of light. You are drawn closer to the glowing rhythm, your presence folding into its cadence. The boundary between observer and origin softens, and you become part of the stillness that precedes the cosmos. In this moment, the universe is both nowhere and everywhere, held in the fragile pause before unfolding. The pulse slows, then quickens, pulsing like the slow blink of a newborn star awakening in the dark. You feel the weight of the moment, the infinite stretched thin into a single breath, a point poised on the edge of becoming. There is no past, no future, only this tender heartbeat floating in the black. Your breath syncs with the rhythm, a quiet mirror to the primordial song. Time has not yet begun, but you feel its pulse humming beneath your skin, a secret shared between you and the void. The universe waits in patient silence, a canvas ready for the first brushstroke of light and motion. As the pulse fades into a softer glow, you sense a subtle folding space and time curling inward like petals about to bloom. The quiet stretches taut, as if preparing for the spark that will shatter stillness and set everything in motion. You stand at the threshold where nothing becomes everything, and as the heartbeat hovers, poised on the edge of dawn, you realize that before time began, there was only this endless breath held quietly, waiting to be released. Then the breath slips away, and you find yourself falling not through space, but through a stillness that has no edges. There is no up or down, no before or after, only the sensation of drifting in a vast formless present. Around you, the world's usual rhythms dissolve. The pulse of moments that once guided your steps now quiets into an invisible hum, and the passage of time feels like a memory fading even as you live it. The sky is an endless void with no stars, no light markers. Just the soft glow of a clock without hands, ticking without sound, its presence felt rather than heard, a paradox that both exists and eludes. You reach out, but your fingers brush through this timeless air like water, fluid and elusive. Here, there are no seconds to count, no minutes to measure, only a constant now that swells and contracts with your breath. You sense this place is neither beginning nor end, but a threshold that folds together all moments into one seamless flow. The feeling of falling becomes less a movement and more a surrender, a release from the linear chains that once held you. You float in this eternal present where cause and effect blur into a dance of possibility. Each instant is whole and complete. yet endlessly unfolding, a delicate balance between being and becoming without direction or destination. As you drift, you notice the faint shimmer of countless unseen threads weaving through the void connections between all things, all times, all versions of yourself. These threads pulse softly, like the afterglow of events long past and those yet to come, intertwined in a pattern too vast to grasp but too vital to ignore. You realize this is the fabric of timelessness itself, a tapestry woven from every choice, every chance, every whisper of existence. The clock without hands floats beside you now, its presence a silent sentinel watching over the endless now. It neither counts down nor counts up, but simply is a symbol of time unbound, a reminder that what you have stepped into exists beyond the limits of measurement. In this place, the heartbeat you once followed has merged with the quiet tick of timelessness, both echoing softly in your chest. There is no fear here, only a gentle surrender to the flow. You feel your sense of self expand and contract like the pulse of a distant star, both fragile and infinite. You sense that in falling outside time, you are discovering a truth deeper than motion, that presence itself is a universe vast and mysterious, where every moment holds eternity folded within. The edges of your vision soften as the timeless current carries you gently onward. You become aware that this place is not empty but full of possibilities, unbound by the arrow of time, full of whispers waiting to be heard beyond sound, full of light folding softly into shadow without need for sequence or shape. A slow warmth rises from the endless now, spreading like sunlight across a silent sea. It touches something deep within you, a quiet knowing that, here, in this timeless drift, you are home neither lost nor found, but simply being. You close your eyes briefly, sensing the delicate balance of this eternal present, where falling is not falling at all, but a dance without end, and then, as if drawn by some unseen current, you sense the faintest pulsant echo from the edges of the timeless sea calling you gently forward, toward a place where the whispers will gather and the silent clock will shift once more. The present swells around you, vast and infinite, and you float weightless, timeless, caught in the soft fold between what was and what will be. The silence between your heartbeats is a bridge, a rhythm stretched thin between two realities. You feel it first as a gentle tug, like a faint pulse caught beneath your skin, then as a widening space where everything seems to breathe in sync, waiting for the next moment to arrive. The world is suspended, poised on the edge of becoming and unbecoming, as if you are the only note vibrating between two silent chords. You stand where two universes almost touch, but never quite merge. In one, light folds gently around shadows like soft fabric. In the other, darkness gleams with its own quiet glow. Between these realms, a thin thread shimmers, fragile, electric, alive. It pulses with every heartbeat you take, a silver filament, weaving time and space together like an invisible seam. This thread is neither here nor there. It is a bridge forged in the rhythm of something deeper than sight, a tether spun from the quantum threads of entanglement as you breathe. The pulse between the worlds stretches and contracts, and you realize that you are both observer and participant. Your presence tightens the thread or loosens it, weaving you deeper into the fabric of connection. You feel the spaces between moments collapse, and the distance between the two orbs on either end of the thread shrink and grow with each breath, each beat, each flicker of attention. The orbs glow softly, one warm and golden, the other cool, and blue, casting light like echoes on the surfaces around you. They are mirrors and opposites, reflections of one another, yet separated by the thread that carries the unseen rhythm. You reach out and sense the hum that flows between them, a quiet song of connection that carries everything. Time folded back on itself, space bending with gentle insistence, and a silent understanding deeper than words. This pulse, this bridge, is more than just a path. It is a promise of unity in a universe that often feels divided, a secret language whispered between particles that can never be truly apart. As you follow the thread with your fingers, you feel it ripple like water stirred by a breeze. The orbs respond, sending waves of light flickering outward, illuminating shapes that shift and dissolve like memories half-remembered. In this place, the boundaries between what is and what might be blur. You realize the pulse is not just between the two orbs, but within you two, a reminder that you are part of the connection itself. You are woven into the same thread, your heartbeat echoing in tandem with the subtle dance of the universe. Time folds around you here, neither linear nor static, but alive and breathing, rippling like the surface of a lake touched by distant stars. The rhythm swells, slow and steady, carrying you deeper into the quiet space between the two lights. Each pulse sends tiny sparks of energy flaring through the thread, sparks that whisper of entanglement, where particles once joined remained linked, no matter the distance or difference between them. You feel the weight of this invisible bond, strong yet delicate, infinite yet fragile. A sudden stillness falls, and you notice that the thread between the orbs begins to shimmer with colors you cannot name, hues flickering between warmth and coolness, between solidity and mist. The pulse seems to slow, stretching moments into a vast ocean of potential, where every beat is both a beginning and an end. You let yourself float in this silence, your breath mingling with the soft glow that surrounds the orbs. The world holds its breath with you, waiting for the next pulse to carry you onward. You wonder what it means to be part of this rhythm, to exist between realities, connected by a thread that hums with the deepest mysteries of the cosmos. There is no fear here, only the quiet certainty that everything is connected. You feel the pulse extend beyond the orbs, reaching out into spaces you cannot see but somehow know are their vast webs of light and shadow, interlaced with threads like the one you hold. These threads stretch across dimensions, tying together moments, places, and possibilities in a cosmic tapestry that pulses with life. You sense that this is not just a place, but a state of being, a moment outside of linear time where connection becomes its own form of existence. You are part of the rhythm, the pulse, the eternal dance of particles and waves, light and shadow, presence and absence. It is as if the universe itself breathes through you, each pulse a silent echo of its boundless mystery. The orbs respond to your thoughts, their light brightening and dimming with your attention. You notice that when you focus on one, the other shifts in response, a delicate balance maintained by the thread between them. This interplay is like a conversation without words, a dialogue of light and vibration that transcends the usual boundaries of understanding. You begin to follow the pulse, allowing it to guide you as the thread weaves through unseen spaces. The air around you hums softly, filled with the subtle music of entanglement and connection. You feel weightless, suspended in a rhythm that carries you beyond the limits of your own experience, deeper into the heart of the cosmic dance. As you move with the pulse, you realize the thread is not just a connection between 2 points, but a path through possibility. Each beat sends ripples through the fabric of reality, touching places yet to be born, moments yet to unfold. You sense futures blooming in the quiet spaces between heartbeats, pasts folding gently into presents, and a timeless now stretching infinitely outward. The thread pulses stronger now, weaving light and shadow into a shimmering path beneath your feet. You follow it, feeling the rhythm inside your own chest resonate with the cosmic beat. Your breath aligns with the pulse, and the boundaries between inside and outside, self and universe, begin to blur in this moment. The universe feels whole, a single living organism pulsing with endless energy and possibility. You are both the observer and the observed, the thread and the weaver, the light and the shadow. The pulse is your heartbeat, and your heartbeat is the pulse. Time loses its usual meaning here. The past, present, and future fold together like pages in a book, held open by the delicate tension of the thread. You feel a gentle weightlessness, as if you are floating between worlds, carried by the rhythm that binds everything together. The golden orb grows warmer, its light spreading like a sunrise over a distant horizon. The blue orb cools, a calm twilight, wrapping the edges of your vision. Between them, the thread glows brighter, alive with the silent energy of connection. You reach out to touch the thread again, feeling the warmth of the golden orb ripple through your fingers. The thread vibrates softly, sending a pulse that travels through you like a wave of calm and clarity. You realize that this pulse carries a message, one of unity, of balance, of the fragile but unbreakable ties that hold the cosmos together. In this quiet space, you sense the vastness of what connects you, not just to the orbs, but to all things, all moments, all possibilities. The pulse is a reminder that no matter how distant or different, everything is bound by the same rhythm, the same thread of light and life. You close your eyes, letting the pulse wash over you like a gentle tide. The rhythm slows and softens, cradling you in its endless embrace. You are both here and everywhere, both present and eternal, caught in the quiet dance of the pulse between worlds. As the pulse fades to a whisper, you sense a new thread beginning to weave itself beside the one you hold, another connection, another possibility, waiting quietly to be discovered. The bridge between realities stretches onward, infinite and shimmering, inviting you to follow where it will lead next. And in the stillness that follows, you understand the pulse never truly ends. It is the heartbeat of the cosmos, a song without words, a thread without end, a connection that carries you forward through the endless dance of light and shadow. You don't move, but something shifts, the pulse deepening, a quiet light flickering just beyond your reach. The thread between the orbs begins to unwind, stretching like a ribbon of moonlight into a space that ripples with softness and shadow. You find yourself drawn forward, carried on the silent current of that delicate pulse, stepping through the shimmer and into a garden that holds a light you thought you'd never see again. The garden is neither dark nor bright, but somewhere in between, a twilight sanctuary where every leaf glows faintly with a light all its own. Here, the plants breathe in slow, deliberate rhythms, their edges pulsing with a soft iridescence, as if they are caught in a perpetual moment of becoming. The air tastes of quiet memory, and every step you take releases small bursts of flickering sparks, like scattered stars slipping free from the earth. You sense that this is a place where light has been lost and found again, folded back into itself like a secret kept close to the heart of the universe. It is a place suspended between what was and what might be, where fragments of forgotten dreams and unseen possibilities drift gently among the branches, waiting to be gathered and understood. A pale mist weaves through the garden, curling like smoke from a distant fire, carrying whispers you cannot quite catch. The mist feels alive, fluid and light, shaped by an unseen hand that guides it with a careful grace. It beckons you deeper, winding between glowing stems and shimmering petals, drawing you closer to the core of this hidden sanctuary. As you walk, you notice that the light here does not come from the sun or stars, but from the garden itself, from the memory of light that once was, now preserved in delicate layers of color and shadow. Each leaf seems to hold a fragment of the cosmos, a sliver of history folded into its veins. The plants shimmer with soft radiance, as if made from the echo of photons long vanished yet still humming with potential. You reach out and touch a leaf, its surface cool and smooth beneath your fingers. The light within it pulses gently, like the heartbeat of a quiet star. For a moment you see a flash of something else, a glimpse of a world where that light never faded, where possibility bloomed in endless gardens beneath skies unclouded by time. The leaf vibrates softly, sending ripples of light coursing through the mist, awakening memories tucked deep in your mind. The garden itself feels alive, aware of your presence and your breath. It responds to your touch, shifting and folding in subtle ways, as if the plants themselves are weaving a story around you. The light deepens, flowing through the branches like a gentle river of energy, illuminating paths that flicker in and out of existence with every step. You begin to notice other shapes among the leaves, faint glimmers of light that pulse and waver, like trapped fireflies caught between moments. They flicker and fade, then reappear, dancing on the edges of your vision. These are the lost lights, fragments of photons that slipped beyond the reach of time, captured here in this garden where light and shadow entwine in delicate balance. The air hums softly with their presence, a chorus of silent voices singing in waves of color and vibration. You realize that these lost lights are not gone but preserved, held in a fragile equilibrium between existence and absence. They are the shadows of possibility, the echoes of paths not taken, the remnants of stars that once shone but now exist only as memory. Walking deeper into the garden, you come upon a clearing where the light gathers in a soft pool. Here, the glow is brighter, a gentle halo hovering above the ground like a beating heart of pure energy. The light pulses slowly, radiating warmth and calm that seeps into your bones, filling the space inside you where doubt and fear once dwelled. You kneel beside the pool, reaching toward the luminous surface. As your fingers brush the light, the pool ripples and shifts, revealing visions within its depths, swirling galaxies folding into themselves, stars birthing from clouds of cosmic dust, and waves of light cascading through vast, empty spaces. Each vision is a fragment of the universe's story, caught here in the garden's heart, waiting to be seen and held. The light flows into you, threading itself through the fragile spaces inside your mind, weaving new patterns of understanding. You feel the pulse of creation itself, the endless cycle of light born, fading, and born again. A dance of energy that never truly ends but transforms endlessly into new forms. The garden teaches you that light is never lost. It is only waiting, folded into the fabric of existence, ready to bloom once more. As you rise, the garden shifts beneath your feet. Paths of glowing moss and iridescent flowers lead you onward, winding through trees that hum with quiet song. The branches sway in a rhythm only they can hear, their leaves sparkling like fragments of shattered stars. You follow the trail, each step a soft echo in the stillness, deeper into the sanctuary where light and shadow are one. Along the path, you find small orbs of light trapped in crystalline cages hanging from branches. Each orb flickers with a different color, a miniature universe shimmering with life and possibility. As you reach for one, it pulses in your palm, expanding and contracting with the breath of something vast yet intimate. You sense these orbs hold the essence of moments forgotten, glimpses of time folded into delicate spheres, waiting to be touched and remembered. The garden seems to breathe with you, its rhythm matching your own heartbeat. You are part of its pulse now, woven into the luminous tapestry of lost light and remembered dreams. You feel a gentle weightlessness, a quiet freedom carried on waves of glowing mist in the distance. The soft glow of the garden's edge beckons a horizon where light fades into shadow and shadow into light. You walk toward it, feeling the garden's story unfold in every step. The thread of lost light weaving through the air like a silent song. You pause at the threshold, looking back at the sanctuary behind you. The garden shimmers with a quiet promise that even in the darkest places, light remains, folded gently within the heart of all things. You carry its glow with you, a fragile spark kindled in the endless night. And as you step beyond the garden's edge, the lost light flickers. Once more, a whisper of a world waiting just beyond the veil, where possibility blooms eternal. It is a darkness that doesn't swallow, but holds, like an embrace spun from twilight's silk. This dark is full of sound, though it is not a noise you can name. It is a murmur, a gentle pulse, curling through the stillness like a secret breather, whisper from places beyond sight. The darkness here is velvety and dense, folding around you with the softness of memory. It presses close, not like a weight, but like a familiar song sung just beneath your skin, steady and warm. It enfolds your senses, one by one, inviting your mind to slow, to listen, to become part of the silence's dance. You feel your breath deepen, your heart steady in rhythm with the quiet that cradles you as you move. Shadows stir gently in the periphery of your vision, figures formed of absence, not substance. They flicker, appearing like whispers given shape, silhouettes shimmering at the edge of perception before dissolving into the darkness again. They do not threaten, they are echoes, ghosts of light's retreat. Memories suspended between what was and what might be. The ground beneath your feet seems soft, shifting subtly with each step, like walking on moss made of deep shadow and starlight dust. The darkness is not a hollow void, but a fertile soil from which silence grows thick, lush, and alive. It is here, in this tender shadowland, that the absent becomes something more, a field of possibility woven in quiet, waiting to unfold. You sense this dark as a living archive, not of what exists, but of what has been left behind, possibilities that never bloomed, moments that slipped away, the faint footprints of choices you never made. The whispering dark holds these absent stories, threading them together with silken filaments that pulse softly like the heartbeat you carried from the garden's glow. A faint current stirs the air, carrying a scent both ancient and infinite. It is like rain falling on forgotten worlds, or the breath of stars before their first light. This fragrance wraps around you, pulling you gently toward a deeper stillness, where the line between self and shadow blurs and melts away. You are no longer separate from the darkness. You become part of its endless weave, a thread in the quiet loom of absence. The darkness seems to breathe with you, expanding and contracting in a rhythm that matches your own. Your senses sharpen and soften at once, tuning to frequencies beneath the song of lighter, hidden hum beneath the universe's surface. In this moment, You are both observer and participant, moving through a dream woven of shadow and silence far ahead. Faint glimmers appear, teeny pinpricks of light, pulsing like distant stars, struggling to shine through a fog of shadows. Each flicker carries a fragment of a story, a whisper of a memory held in the dark. These lights are fragile, flickering against the abyss, connected by shimmering threads that glisten like spider silk spun from possibility. You reach out, your fingers brushing the air. The shadows part just enough to reveal the delicate filaments linking these points of light. They vibrate softly under your touch. Threads of moments that never were, but still linger, paths that might have been taken, words left unsaid, dreams half remembered. Following one thread, you feel yourself drawn deeper into the whispering dark. It leads you to a vast chamber where shadows gather like an expectant crowd, hushed and waiting. The air here is thick with anticipation. The darkness deepens, folding around you like a velvet curtain drawn across the threshold of perception. This chamber is the heart of the absenter place where all the mitobins collect, shimmering like leaves caught in a slow, endless fall. You stand among them, feeling the weight of unrealized possibilities pressing softly around you. They are not heavy or dark, but tender and fragile, full of a strange kind of hope. Before you, a shape forms a figure woven from shadow and light, neither fully here nor gone. Its eyes hold the deep night and the faint glow of far-off galaxies. You recognize it as a reflection of yourself, shaped from the quiet spaces of your own untaken paths, the moments that might have been you. If a single choice had turned differently, the figure reaches out, and you feel a gentle touch, like a breeze stirring the surface of a still lake. In that touch, a wave of understanding flows through you. Your presence here weaves new threads into the tapestry of possibility, folding absence gently into being. By watching these shadows, by simply being here, you change their shape, their story. The whispering dark pulses with subtle light, glowing from within the shadows themselves. It is alive, a weave of all that could have been and all that might yet be, a silent dance between presence and absence, light and shadow, time and timelessness. You move among the shadows like a dreamer guided by an invisible compass, your steps echoing softly in the stillness. The darkness shifts, no longer an empty void, but a place of creation, where silence sculpts the birth of new stars and the unfolding of unseen worlds. Patterns form around you, shadows folding and unfolding like waves, tracing spirals of galaxies, made of absence, swirling in slow, endless motion. These are the stories of the universe, written in dark ink tales of creation and uncreation, beginnings without ends, endings that never fully come. You reach a pool of mirror-like darkness. Its surface is smooth and cool beneath your fingertips. But when you look into it, you don't see your reflection. Instead, you see a kaleidoscope of moments, a shifting mosaic of memories, choices, dreams. Each fragment shines with borrowed light, borrowed from the garden, from the lost stars, and from the spaces between. Touching the pool sends ripples through the whispering dark. The shadows tremble, awakening from long slumber, their edges glowing with the faint echo of light. You sense that your touch stirs the balance between absence and presence, inviting the dark to breathe, to speak its secrets in soft pulses. The silence deepens, folding into itself until you hear the faintest voice, a whisper on the breath of stars long extinguished, a lullaby sung before the first dawn of time. It is the sound of possibility itself, fragile, infinite, and unbroken. You close your eyes and let the darkness fold around you, a shawl woven from night and memory. You are alone, yet part of something vast, a single thread in the endless tapestry of existence. Here, time loses its hold. Moments stretch and contract like shadows cast by an unseen sun, and you drift between presence and absence, light and dark, held in the tender balance of the whispering dark. When you open your eyes, the darkness softens into a gentle twilight. The whispers fade into a calm hum, and the path ahead glows faintly, beckoning you forward. Deeper into the next mystery, the next fold in the endless story of light, shadow, and the spaces between.